These 10 Valentine's Day cakes have gone viral because they're unique, delicious, easy, or fun. Let's start with this cake that has almost 12 million views on Instagram. For a cake. It's a simple design made with a triangle cut out of parchment paper, as a stencil for a cone, scored with the edge of a cake comb to make grid marks, with marbled pink buttercream scooped on top and a fun Valentine's Day pun. You melt my heart. For the message, I used sweet stamp letters, which you press one by one into the cake after chilling the cake to set the frosting. Leave the cake out at room temperature for an hour so that it softens just enough for the perfect imprint of the letters. Paint the letters with edible gold paint, which you can buy or make yourself using vodka or clear vanilla extract mixed with edible gold luster dust. This Valentine's Day cake is so eye-catching and fun. This next cake, with over 1 million views, is such a unique way to make a floral cake. Pipe rosettes, and then put the cake in the freezer for 30 minutes before scraping around it with a hot metal cake comb, which will melt the piping that sticks out and then drag it to fill in the gaps in the piping, creating a flat design that looks like it's been printed onto the cake. The key here is to use at least 2 colors of buttercream. I used 2 shades of pink, and the variation is what creates the details in the design. The next one is for chocolate lovers. Squeeze melted chocolate through a Ziploc bag with a hole cut off one corner, and then lift it up and wrap it around a frosted cake. Chill in the fridge to set the chocolate and then peel off the paper to leave the chocolate design behind on the cake. Run a knife under hot water before slicing for the neatest results. This cake is so decadent. Filmed back in 2020, so please excuse the video quality of, I think this was an iPhone 8. This cake was spotted by Wilton and featured on their page. The frosted cake has been in the fridge for about an hour before this, so that it's firm and won't droop with the weight of this rainbow piping. I'm using a petal piping tip, a number 104, with the wide part pressed against the cake and the narrow end pointing outwards. Drawing the outline of the heart first, by using a toothpick to trace around a paper heart, makes it easy to start and stop each line in the right places so that the final shape is easily recognizable. An optional finishing touch is to place edible gold leaf around the edges, which is easiest to do after chilling the cake so that you don't mess it up if you knock it by mistake. If you're celebrating Valentine's Day as a couple, make a cake for 2, like this. Bake a cake using whatever pan you have and cut out hearts with a cookie cutter, which will be the layers of your cake. Pipe some swirls as the filling between the layers to make a naked heart-shaped cake, or frost it, which is much easier to do after putting the cake in the freezer for 15 minutes so that the layers aren't as crumbly or wobbly. This mini heart cake is the perfect size for a couple to share. Another shortcut to make a mini cake is with cupcakes. Cut them in half and then layer them, using buttercream to stick the bottom layer down onto the cake board. This will hold the cake still as you frost it. And just like with the cookie cutter layers, chilling this cupcake cake in the freezer for 15 minutes will make it much easier to frost. I have a very detailed tutorial on making mini cakes for Valentine's Day, and the link is in the top of the screen. This next cake is maybe the easiest cake in the world to make. Tint a few colors of buttercream and then bake and decorate a cake in the same dish, so there's no need to layer it or to frost the sides. Put the colored buttercream into piping bags with any piping tips and then pipe the colors randomly onto the cake or create a heart. Drawing the heart onto the cake with a toothpick first to give yourself an outline to follow. And serving this cake is just as easy as baking and decorating it. Just pick up the dish and take it wherever you're going and then serve the cake right there in the dish. Here's another easy one. Use a cupcake pan to tint tiny amounts of different colors and then spread these colors over a heart-shaped stencil. When you peel the stencil off, you'll have a gorgeous rainbow heart cake. To make the double stencil, just cut a heart out of parchment paper and layer this over any patterned stencil, taping the 2 stencils together, or push pins through the corners into the cake to hold the stencils in place. If you're traveling for Valentine's Day, make a cake before you go and take it with you. Bake the layers, make the filling, and assemble the cake, and then wrap it in cling film or saran wrap and freeze it for at least an hour or for a few days. Make buttercream to frost the cake and freeze that in a big Ziploc bag, pressing it flat. Just before you travel, take the cake and frosting out of the freezer and put them into a cooler with an ice pack. And then put this into your suitcase. The cake and frosting will thaw gradually while you travel, so that when you arrive, just squeeze the buttercream out of the bag and use it to frost the cake. Instead of taking a turntable with you, you can use a plate. And for 7 frosting techniques that don't require smooth frosting using a cake comb, check out the tutorial I've linked in the top of the screen. Finishing up with another oldie but goodie from 2020. By covering a cake with 2 layers of frosting, chilling the cake in the fridge after the first layer for at least an hour before the next layer so that the layers don't mix together. You can then use clay modeling tools to carve out a heart, scraping off the outer layer of frosting and revealing the colors underneath. I painted around the edge of this heart using edible gold paint to make it really pop. Carved buttercream cakes are very satisfying to make, and they always get the best reaction. So, which one of these viral Valentine's Day cakes are you going to make? Or which one would you like someone to make for you? Tell me in the comments and visit my cake school on BritishGirlBakes.com to learn hundreds of cake decorating techniques and designs. Thanks for watching!